to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video, wherever you are, whatever you may be doing. Thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate if you jump on here live here on this Tuesday evening, the final day in the month of March. Feel free to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. Good evening, Kevron. Glad to have you here. As always, tonight I want to talk some college football. I know I've already did, a few videos about the transfer portal and, players transferring and where they're going. I've already did one video on new head coaches in the world of college football. That was probably late December, early January. Good seeing you tonight as well, Jacob. Not seeing you physically, but seeing your name in the comment section. So tonight I want to talk coaches, but not head coaches. I found this article on CBS Sports. I'm going to make it a two-part video because if I don't, it's going to be a long video, but it's supposed to be the best assistant coach hirings in the country, and they did it by conference. So, of course, since alphabetically ACC comes first, that's what we're going to talk about tonight, along with the Big 12. And then if I remember to go back to the article, next time we'll talk about the Big 10 and the SEC. So even though the article said best, to me, it's all assistant coach hirings as far as coordinators, not special teams coaches, things like that, but coordinators, because in the ACC and the Big 12 alone, it mentioned every single hire of assistant coaches in both conferences. So the article said it was the best assistant coach hirings. I think it's all assistant coach hirings. Not going to tell you where each coach came from because, again, it'll make it a really long video, but some of these names you'll recognize because some of these guys have been around forever. Some you won't, but you can get on Google, of course, and easily find out who. Hey there, Stormy. Glad to have you here, but we'll start. In the ACC, Boston College hired their new defensive coordinator, Ted Roof, who I think has been around since about 1965. Hey there, Pro Gamer. Glad to have you here on this Tuesday evening. And Stormy, I think I recognize your name, but if not, this is your first time here. Thank you for being here. California, of course, hired a new coach. His name is Tosh Lupoy, and both of his coordinators are new. The offensive coordinator is Jordan Somerville, and the defensive coordinator is Michael Hutchings. And, of course, Clemson hired a new old offensive coordinator in Chad Morris. He is new, but he's old because he was there from 2011 to 2014. So what's old is new again in that situation. Florida State, I mentioned this in my video last week because one day last week I did my way too early Florida State 2026 season preview video, and I talked about Tim Harris Jr. is their new offensive coordinator, taking over for the retiring Gus Malzahn. Georgia Tech, their new offensive coordinator is George Godsey, and I can remember George Godsey being their quarterback either right before Joe Hamilton or right after Joe Hamilton. I think it was right after, but I could be wrong. But Georgia Tech was a program that I thought was heading in the right direction, and I thought Brent Key had them going the right way, and he still might, but a lot of the feelings I had was I thought Philo would be their next quarterback. Well, he transferred, and then they had Buster Faulkner calling plays, and he left. So now they've got a brand new quarterback and a brand new OC, but I thought they were going the right direction. Louisville hired co-defensive coordinators Steve Ellis and Mark Ivy. North Carolina, talking about being around for a long time, their new offensive coordinator is Bobby Petrino. I think he's trying to break a record for calling plays for the most collegiate football teams. Pittsburgh, they hired a new defensive coordinator, Corey Sanders. Hey there, Shree. Glad to have you here. And Shree, I don't recognize your name. If this is your first time being here, for whatever reason made you stop by the channel tonight, thank you very much. Feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. They've got new coordinators. The offensive play caller is Terry Heffernan, and the DC is Chris Richard. Syracuse hired a new defensive coordinator, Vince Carriz, and Virginia Tech hired, of course, a new head coach and two new coordinators. One name you should recognize. Their new offensive play caller is Ty Howell, and their new defensive coordinator is Brent Pry. Now, Brent Pry was the head coach, and they fired him, but basically they demoted him because he's going from head coach to defensive coordinator. So I'm sure he's taking a pay cut, but still he's got a job. So he got fired, and he pretty much got rehired as defensive coordinator. That's the Hokies telling him, we trust you calling plays on defense, but we don't trust you being a head coach. And now moving on to the Big 12, BYU got a new defensive coordinator named Kelly Papinga. Baylor got a new defensive coordinator named Joe Klanderman. Cincinnati, all kind of new coordinators. Their offensive coordinators, they've got two now, Nick Cardwell and Pete Thomas, and defensive coordinator is Nate Woody. Colorado got two new coordinators, offense, Brennan Marion, and defense, Chris Marv. Iowa State has two new coordinators, offense, Tyler Roll, and defense, Jesse Bobbitt. Kansas' new offensive coordinator is Andy Kotelnicki. Kansas State has two new coordinators. On offense, Sean Gleason, and on defense, Jordan Peterson. Oklahoma State hired co-offensive coordinators Sean Brophy and Skylar Cassidy. TCU new offensive coordinator is Gordon Samus, and Utah got two new coordinators as well as a new head coach. On offense, Kevin McGivern, and on defense, it's Colton Swan. There's all the new assistant coach hirings in the ACC and the Big 12. Now, of course, tomorrow being a Wednesday will be a top 10 countdown video, but I hope to come back to this on Thursday and mention the Big 10 and the SEC, but I knew putting them all in one video would make the video way too long and too much to remember. But I found the article on CBS Sports, and they listed these alphabetically by conference. So, of course, ACC comes first. That's why I did the ACC first. It wasn't my idea. It's just where I found the article, and I figured I would just write it down the way the article had it to make it so much easier. But let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. After investigating the librarian, they determined she checks out. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family how much you love them.